The wind, a gnawing, spectral thing, clawed at the canvas of the truck, a metallic shriek echoing the dread that had settled into my marrow. I, a devotee of the precipice, a seeker of the untamed, had brought my friend, Hugh, to this forsaken corner of the upstate wilderness. We sought not the manicured slopes of civilization, but the raw, untamed embrace of the backcountry, a realm where the whispers of the ancient hills mingled with the chilling breath of the unseen. The 3-hour drive, a monotonous drone punctuated by the occasional jarring lurch over rutted roads, had been a prelude to the true isolation. The off-roading, a treacherous dance through gnarled trees and icy ravines, had finally yielded to a desolate valley, a hollow cradle of snow-laden hills. The truck, a metal beast of burden, shuddered to a halt, its headlights casting long, skeletal shadows across the virgin snow. We unloaded our gear, the weight of our supplies a tangible burden against the growing unease that gnawed at my soul. The quarter-mile hike, a seemingly trivial distance, stretched into an eternity, each step a labored struggle against the encroaching silence. We found a clearing, a small island of relative flatness amidst the undulating hills, a place where the trees stood like silent sentinels, their branches gnarled and twisted, reaching out like skeletal fingers. The tent, a flimsy barrier against the encroaching cold and the unseen horrors that lurked beyond, was erected with a haste born of primal fear. Sleeping bags, cold and damp, were unfurled, their synthetic warmth a meager comfort against the chill that seemed to seep from the very earth itself. The ascent began, a slow, arduous climb into the heart of the hills. The snow, a pristine white shroud, concealed the secrets that lay beneath, the ancient, slumbering things that stirred in the earth's frozen depths. We skied, our movements a desperate attempt to defy the gravity that sought to drag us down, our laughter a hollow echo in the vast, empty expanse. Then, the separation. A larger hill, a monstrous white wave, swallowed Hugh whole. I plunged down its icy face, the wind a howling banshee in my ears. At the bottom, a desolate expanse of snow, I found myself alone, the silence broken only by the rhythmic crunch of my skis. The walkie-talkie, a fragile link to the world beyond, crackled with static, a distorted, unintelligible murmur. Hugh's voice, if it was indeed his, was lost in the chaotic noise, a phantom echo in the vast emptiness. Then, a figure emerged from the swirling snow, a lone skier, his face obscured by a mask, his voice a disembodied murmur. He spoke of seeking good hills, of camping, of his wife. His skis, strapped to an orange backpack, seemed incongruous, a flash of garish color in the monochrome landscape. He asked for directions to our campsite, a request that filled me with a primal unease. Yet, the ingrained sense of camaraderie, the unspoken code of the wilderness, compelled me to comply. I retrieved the walkie-talkie, its static a maddening counterpoint to the growing dread, and announced my return to the campsite. The journey back was a slow, agonizing trek, each step a heavy, deliberate movement. The man, his presence a constant, unsettling weight behind me, engaged in small talk, his words a meaningless babble against the rising tide of fear. At the campsite, I turned to face him, a forced smile beneath my mask. "Where is your wife?" I asked, the question a desperate attempt to dispel the growing unease. He did not answer. He moved closer, his pace quickening, his movements imbued with a predatory intent. The skis, the backpack, a sudden, horrifying realization struck me. They were Hugh's. But the voice was wrong. A primal scream, a silent shriek of terror, echoed within the confines of my skull. I dove into the tent, a frantic scramble for the flare gun, my fingers fumbling with the zipper. A hand, cold and clammy, grasped my leg, a vice-like grip that sent a jolt of terror through my body. Then, a searing pain, a sharp electric shock followed by a burning heat, tore through my flesh. I screamed, a raw, animalistic cry of agony. The flare gun, a lifeline in the encroaching darkness, was finally in my grasp. I pushed aside the tent flap, my eyes locking onto the figure before me. He recoiled, his hands raised in a gesture of surrender. Then I saw it, the knife, buried deep in my leg, a crimson stain spreading across the white snow. I demanded answers, my voice a strained whisper, a desperate plea for sanity in the face of madness. "Near the bottom of the hill," he rasped, his voice a hollow echo of fear. "He's there." I reached for the phone, my fingers trembling as I dialed 911, a desperate call for salvation. But the man, a phantom in the swirling snow, vanished before my eyes, leaving me alone with the pain and the fear. The wait was an eternity, each passing moment a slow, agonizing crawl towards oblivion. The cold, a relentless enemy, gnawed at my bones, the blood seeping from my wound a macabre reminder of my vulnerability. Then, a sound, a distant, rhythmic thumping that grew louder with each passing second. The helicopter, a mechanical angel of salvation, descended from the heavens, its spotlight cutting through the swirling snow. The flare, a desperate signal in the vast darkness, was fired, a crimson arc against the monochrome sky. The helicopter landed, its rotors churning the snow into a blinding white vortex. They found Hugh, his body sprawled across the snow, his leg punctured by 2 deep wounds. He was unconscious, his breath shallow, his skin cold and clammy. He had tried to reach me on the walkie-talkie, his voice lost in the static, a desperate plea swallowed by the silence. The hospital, a sterile, antiseptic world, became our refuge. The doctors, their faces grim, tended to our wounds, their words a clinical recitation of injuries and procedures. But the physical wounds were mere scratches compared to the psychic scars that lingered, the haunting memory of the man, the stolen skis, the orange backpack, the voice that was not Hugh's. The hills, once a source of exhilaration, had become a place of dread, a realm where the unseen horrors lurked, their presence a chilling reminder of the fragility of our existence. The silence of the backcountry, once a source of solace, now echoed with the whispers of the ancient, malevolent things that stirred beneath the snow, their hunger insatiable, their patience eternal. And I knew that I would never truly escape the chilling embrace of the wilderness, the haunting memory of the man who stole my friend's voice, and the knowledge that something ancient and terrible still lurked within those snow-covered hills.